Okay, here's something that really pisses me off. And once again, 13th Son put out books, PDFs on his Twitter. So I started reading a couple of them, and it's more typical bullshit about the Moors and how they're not black and blah 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 blah. And of course, they leave out the most important part, which is how to petition the IRS to get the money they made off your straw man. But it's more the typical, rhetoric bullshit. So anyway, I found this great picture right here because it basically destroys them with their own logic. And let's see. By 13 Son's own admission, he says that the letter G and K are the same exact thing, which I think is hilarious because here you got Malcolm X. Why is this fucking side getting bigger and that one not? Here you got Malcolm X with the sign, this Negro, subhuman, 3/5 a person, and then Necro is corpse. And by the 13 Son's own fucking admission, his own fucking admission, he says the letter G and K are the same. And the reason why they call them 3/5 a person, I just realized this today, is because a person is 5 things. Scrolling down to that. They are their flesh, their soul, their spirit, their nationality, and divine creed. So black people are only flesh, soul, and spirit. They don't have nationality or divine creed. And this still holds true today. Even if they do claim Moorish nationality, they're still black people. Here's why. And they always talk, and Taj Tarik Bey is always talking shit about Romans when what's Rome backwards? Moor. And what did they used to call Rome for the longest time up until 300 years ago? Saturnia. And all of this stuff Malcolm X's writing is on a, guess what, black box. A Saturnian box. So Moor is Rome, which is Saturnia. And by the way, Capricorns are ruled by Saturn, which means that they're overly negative. And we are on one of Saturn's moons right now. That's another secret they don't want you to know. Remember, this is all fake. The whole thing is fake. And not to mention is that Rachel, aka Sarah Adams, was put here to be part of a team to combat the black goo. They injected this goo inside her bone marrow, and she wasn't having any of it, and it left her body. So she was specifically put here to combat the black goo. And furthermore, the transhuman, one of its missions, its biggest mission, its primary mission, is to go out and convert the universe from a dead matter state, which is the black color you see it as, and convert it into a living matter state. That's what the transhuman is for. That's its biggest primary mission. So once they convert it into a living matter state, you're no longer going to see like a big black universe with white stars shining. You're not going to see the typical, like, black vastness in the abyss. You're not going to see anything that's black. It's all going to be living matter. And Sarah was put here. If you watch Basis 25, she admits that she's put here to convert the universe from a dead matter state to a living matter state. And remember, melanin is just there to protect the reptiles from radiation. The reptiles are assholes. So if you have a functioning brain, you can clearly see that black people are an abomination. I love James Casbolt's theory on black people. Well, it's not his theory, it's Nazi ideology, where black people were created from white people going into space and copulating with monkeys. And but I'll tell you, on a serious note, I saw something that really pissed me off. Was Taj Tarik Bey was talking, and he was, doing his typical spinning bullshit. He was spinning the truth, where he was saying that it's the typical like Christian people that are the most hateful people, and the ignorant people that are the most hateful. Yeah, but who tricked them into being that way? Your people did, the Moors. That's asking Taj Tarik Bey who's to blame is like asking the fox who robbed the hen house. And once again, all the Taj Tarik Bey videos are everything and everything except how to claim Moorish nationality and how to get the money back the IRS made off your straw man. It's always the same bullshit over and over again. They're going to say the whole "we're not black" rhetoric over and over again until the bitter end. And I was actually reading one of these Noble Drew Ali books, and it's the typical like corporate like rhetoric where it's just bloviating and no one ever gets to the point in the book. It's just more like, corporate bullshit, and you can tell the guy had to be a jinn, because he's just so soulless, and his writing is so bereft of like human emotion, and it's just like so corporate and bland writing that it just makes you want to jump off the building. Now here's something that's just too fun to be true. Famous people born in 1933. And by the way, for those who don't know, 1933 is on the Moorish calendar is, let's see, I tweeted this a couple. 1913 AD is 1333 on the Moorish calendar. Why am I not surprised? Famous people born in 1933. Willie Nelson, James Brown, Joan Rivers, Gene Wilder, Carol Burnett, Yoko Ono, which was married to John Lennon, who made movies like... Yoko Ono was married to John Lennon, who figured out how to manipulate time with music, and he had a movie theater that showed movies like The Holy Mountain, which is basically the story of initiating people into the high mysteries, which would be like what Fred's doing with my compatriots and I. Then Conway Twitty, which is the connection with him is that you have Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane, who always put clips of Conway Twitty in his show, and he could have chose anyone, any old school country guy to make fun of, but he chose Conway Twitty, who was born in 1933. Of course, if you've seen Family Guy, there's so many hint hint wink wink Mason skits in it, and Masonic references, and Carol Burnett is obviously a liaison between Hollywood and the mafia, and Larry King is very obvious. I firmly believe that all these people were most likely jinns, or they're obviously like someone in some capacity, some Masonic capacity. Oh, there's Flip Wilson. Everyone recognizes him. That's a sarcastic statement. Yeah, the Riddler. Yeah, that one's funny right there. And I'd like to point out an inconsistency right here. Mr. McAleary, right? I tell him about Metallica's Of Wolf and Man, because he always is uploading, videos, he's always uploading songs. Because, you know, all the songs in the world, in the Western world, contain esoteric meanings, right? So, Metallica's Of Wolf and Man, the song emphasizes shape-shifting all the time. And we can all do this. This is something we all can do. Because if you look at the Egyptian hieroglyphs, you can see clearly of wolf heads and dog heads and snake heads. And he's going to spin it as like the whole typical lady in red stuff and, you know, all the typical crap. And not only did McLeary not play the song in his video, he didn't even mention the word shapeshift, even though the song emphasizes the word shapeshift. So he dodged it. He should play for the Brooklyn Dodgers because he's one smarmy person. And of course, you know, once again, the acidic blood, drinking lots of coffee. And I keep telling them that if your blood is acidic, the silver in your spine will not go down and come up as gold if your blood is acidic. Only if your blood is alkaline will the silver in your spine descend and come back up as gold. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And did you know that all you have to do is go to court and tell the judge that the bank didn't notify you that you were the trustee on your house? Because, you know, the contract says that you're an owner, but you're really the trustee. So if you go to court and say, hey, the bank didn't tell me that I was the trustee, you're stuck with the house. When I say stuck, that's a good thing. The house is yours forevermore. Forevermore.